We are, however, seeing some Republicans very slowly, clearly for reasons of self-preservation, starting to jump ship a little bit with the wild fraud allegations that Donald Trump is making. I have two examples for you today. These are not good people. These are still people who deserve to never vote again, but work again. No, they can. I apologize. They obviously deserve to vote again. That's not what I meant. They deserve to never work again. We're going to start with former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie backing off of Trump's voter fraud claims, which are, of course, bogus. Christie, a top ally of Donald Trump, helped is a loose term, but worked with Trump on debate prep. And yesterday, Chris Christie said, you can keep saying voter fraud. And if there's voter fraud, then we need to deal with it. But you've got to produce some evidence here. And Chris Christie starting to distance.
Chris Christie, it should not have to be said, counting absentee ballots is not illegal. It is not fraud. It is not corruption.
George, let's say I've been fortunate enough to be on the ballot a number of times myself. I've won, I've lost. And so as a candidate, you're even more invested in the integrity of the system. Right? So if this stuff is going on that the president's talking about, all of us want it ferreted out because it would undercut everything that we believe in our system. But as a prosecutor, that's like asking me to indict someone without showing me any evidence. If you're going to say those things from behind the podium at the White House, it's his right to do it. It's his right to pursue legal action. But show us the evidence. We heard nothing today about any evidence. I want to know what backs up what he said so that I can analyze it. And let me tell you, if he's right, I'll be outraged, and I'm sure you would be too.
And if he's wrong?
And if he's wrong, then the American people are going to be able to make the judgment about this election that the results have been fair. And this kind of thing, all it does is inflame without informing. And we cannot permit inflammation without information.
So Chris Christie was maybe the first prominent actual Trump advisor to publicly confront Trump and say, what you're saying is not, at least as of now, backed up by evidence. It's inflammatory. He said he already won when he didn't. He's saying that there's fraud when there's no evidence of it. You've got to be careful with that. We then also heard from former Pennsylvania Republican Senator Rick Santorum. Now, he is not a Trump advisor and has even been a little lukewarm on Trump over the years. He is a Republican that you could reasonably describe as pro-Trump, although he has had some hesitations. He said it was just completely wrong for Trump to undermine public confidence in the election, declare victory, all of that stuff.
Rick Santorum?
No Republican elected official is going to stand behind that statement. I mean, none of them will. They will stand behind elements of that statement. They will stand behind his comment about the polling and how you could make the argument that it was suppression and dishonest. I mean, you can stand behind the lack of transparency when it came to allowing the votes to be counted. There's evidence of that, and he provided some evidence for that. There are certain things they will stand behind in that statement because they reflect the reality. But much of that statement was not factual and was at times incendiary and not something that President of the United States should say or any elected officials.
You said
unless you have evidence to prove it, and at this point in time we don't, and we won't until there is an investigation as to what happened. And I got to tell you, I sat there and I listened to him talking about the votes being taken away from him, and then he shifted to Arizona and said, hey, I win this thing if they count the votes. Well, how can you say, well, we have to wait and count the votes in Arizona and I can win this thing if we're making it, but if you count the votes in Philadelphia, you're stealing them. The reality is in Pennsylvania, Democrats voted by mail and Republicans voted by in person. And it's because you asked them to do so.
Shortly after Trump wrapped up that bizarre press conference, Santorum also said that the president's rhetoric was dangerous. And I think what's important to remember here is that these are not good people because they're doing this. Chris Christie supported Trump throughout the entire campaign and even helped to manufacture this exact situation. This is a really important point. Chris Christie now says, oh, Trump's got to be careful. He's got to bring the evidence. Christie facilitated the current crisis situation, which Donald Trump has fomented. These people are merely trying to self-preserve, but they all need to go. And at some point, we'll put together a full list of these people. Chris Christie, Kayleigh McEnany, of course, Don Jr., Ivanka Kushner, Steve Bannon, the whole lot of them deserve to never work again. These are facilitators for the most dishonest and weaponizedly incompetent presidency that we have had in the modern era. I could probably say of all time, but let's just say in the modern era. And I hope everybody's been taking names. Let me put it that way. One of our sponsors today is Vincero Watches, and they're giving you 15% off everything in the store. If you're a guy looking for the perfect way to refresh your style, one of the best investments you can make is in a high-quality wristwatch. Vincero is an American company that has made it possible for everyday people to afford a premium watch. Almost everything they sell is within the range of about $200, but it'll look like you spent a lot more. All of their watches are made in small batches from top quality materials, and they just look great. I went on their site and picked out a watch from their Icon Automatic collection. The one I got is in mesh matte black, and I love it. It's simple, sleek, elegant, goes great with just about anything I'm wearing, and I've gotten a ton of compliments on it. You'll get 15% off everything in their store when you go to davidpakman.com/watch, and I've put that link right underneath this video.